Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be adding a little bit more unsprung weight to the bottom of our Enduro Sendero. We are going to be adding brass. I know everybody's got mixed opinions about brass, but what the heck, we're going to try it. We're going to try and keep some of that weight down low, keep these wheels planted on the ground, and see what happens. So let's not waste any time and let's get into it. So as you can see, we got two different upgrades here for the front and for the rear. Starting off in the rear, we've got the rear axle weights. This is going to be a pretty simple install. And then for the front, we've got the brass knuckles. And these are both an SSD product. I've got these here just so you can kind of see the part number, just so in case you want to go out and get some yourself. It's easy to see, easy to reference. These are by SSD, and the reason I got these was because even though I wanted to add a little bit of brass, I didn't want that brass look, that bright, shiny gold. And with the SSD parts, they're a nice dark black, which is kind of hard to find. And these are not light; these are heavy. And especially these knuckles. So I'm curious to see what the stock motor is going to do with all this extra weight. The motor's okay. They do have an upgrade. It's another Reedy motor, but let's see what happens. We'll try it out and see how it goes. So let me get the body off and let's start getting these parts installed. So the first thing we're going to do is just go ahead and get the rear wheels removed. Next, we want to remove the 12mm hexes. It's a plastic hex. They just slide on and off. They're held in place with a pin. As you can see, they're slotted, and there's a pin that holds them in place here. No set screw or anything, so we'll remove those on both sides. Now we're just going to remove the two screws that hold on the rear axle hub. Now just to see what kind of weight we're actually adding, let's go ahead and measure. Wow, 52.4 grams per side. Okay, so we're going to be adding 104.8 grams just to the rear of this truck. That's a significant amount of weight. So let's go ahead and keep moving forward. And now we're gonna slide on our new SSD rear axle weight. It goes right over the factory hub. And now we're gonna use two of the supplied countersunk screws that come along with these weights to fasten it back to the rear axle hub. Then we're just going to slide our pin back in. To get it back in, then we're just going to slide our hex back on. Make sure to align your groove in the hex to the pin. And now we're just going to rinse and repeat and do the other side. So I went ahead and saved a step that you guys didn't necessarily need to see, and I removed the front tires. But before I move any further, I wanted to show you guys how awesome these knuckles look. I mean, these things they're sweet. They've got like a nice, almost like a nickel look to them. They're not a black, and they're not even like a gray. I think nickel's probably the closest color description I can come to. These things are awesome and heavy. Again, This part's not light, and the machining quality on this is second to none. These things are spot on. These things look fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna stop gushing over these, and let's weigh them and see what they're gonna be adding to the front of this truck. Okay, so we got our trusty little micro scale back out, and let's see what one of these front knuckles weighs. Ooh, that's not a good number. Let's try that again. Ah, there we go. 66.5 grams each. So we are adding some significant weight to the front of this truck. So, okay, let's keep going. Okay, so the next step, now that we're done weighing things, is to put the included bearings into the knuckles, because it is such a spot-on machining job. These things are a very, very tight fit, so you got to get it just right for it to focus, just right to get it to go in. And then when we're installing these, you're going to have these slots here where it's plastic on the stock parts. Then we're going to have these little brass sleeves for the fasteners to go through in order to clamp these things down. So we'll get those on as we're putting these on. So let's go. Okay guys, moving forward, one thing I did get, like I said, got the bearing in there. Moving on, I removed the stock knuckle, and the one thing you got to do is remove the bearing out of the inside bearing out of the factory knuckle and put it into the new SSD knuckle. You know why they didn't include both bearings, I'm not 100% sure. The only thing I can think of is maybe one slightly, no, they got to be the same. So I don't know, just a quick tip, got to make sure that you do remove that bearing there and reuse it on the new knuckles. Okay guys, one side done. It looks freaking sweet. I don't know how well we can get that shot in there, but yeah, it looks really good. It does use, like I said, you use the stock bearing right there for the shaft, for the axle shaft. You do reuse the inner bearing. You reuse this piece up on top of the knuckle for your steering link. That's all reused from the factory setup. But fortunately, that's already like a metal, so that's good. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Not much to it. Let's go ahead and get. Okay, guys, that's it. We are done. Both sides. All I need to do is just put the hexes back on and get the wheels mounted up. But I have to say that these things, they look really, really good on here. And there's some significant difference in the weight, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not sure. I'm not usually a big fan of brass, so this is the first time I've used brass on a vehicle, so I'm curious to see how it works out. But just the overall machining quality, how it all looks really good. So I'm curious to see how this upgrade, if it is a true upgrade. You know, some people might think it's a downgrade. They don't like the weight. Brass is overrated. But you know what? Hey, we don't know. We're just going to try it out, see what happens, and go from there. You know, just give an honest opinion. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And it's something that you can easily reverse and take off. Granted, these parts are not cheap, but you know, sometimes all it takes is just trying things out, seeing what works for you, for your style of driving, for your type of rig. You know, what you like. There is no right or wrong in this hobby. It's what makes you happy. It's what you enjoy. It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. So, you know, do what you like. Who cares? So with that said, let's get some hex nuts back on. that is one thing that I want to talk about real quick is, the factory hexes are a plastic, and if you run any sort of motor ESC combo that's more than the stock brush setup, I would say this is a definite upgrade. And maybe that's one of our future upgrades. Who knows? You'll have to tune in and see. Maybe episode 3, maybe episode 4. Let's see. But yeah, just plastic hexes, never a big fan, especially if you've already upgraded the wheels like we have, and you have a metal hub on the wheel. That's a good chance to get this thing stripped or twisted and get stuck in there. So just a point. So let's get the wheels back on and get this thing completed. And there it is, quick and painless. Wasn't too difficult. The only problem I ran into is I didn't make sure that I had all my brass sleeves out of the package before I threw it away. So I was completely confused on why I only had 3, thought I got shorted, and turns out that I'm just not that bright, and didn't clear the package before I threw it in my little trash can. So fortunately, after I got through that, everything else went smooth, no issues. This is a very quick and easy install. So if you're doing the front and the rear, similar to like what we did today, maybe 15 minutes. Real easy. And as you can see, clearances are all good, even with the aftermarket wheels, the Vanquish wheels that we have with the 350 hubs. I think if you start sucking it in a little bit tighter, you might really start it might be tight as far as your tolerance. So keep that in mind. Again, we're running a 350 SLW hub. They offer a 225 and I think a 175. So depending on what you're going for on your setup, just keep that in mind that you might have some slight clearance issues running this setup if you do that. But all in all, everything fits good. Quality is right there. I can't say enough about those SSD parts. Those are really, really nice. So that's all for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And if you like what you're seeing, please make sure to give the video a thumbs up, like this video, leave a comment down below. I'll respond to any comments that we get. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll look forward to seeing you on episode 3. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next one.